Welcome to Attican Plays Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. All right, hi, this is Attican, and welcome to the first episode in our playthrough of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. As I said in the overview, we are going to do everything on the hardest possible settings. We're going to start in 1960. So there's really nothing to change here. We're just going to hit that hard button, set up everything to be as hard as it will allow, and go for it. Now on hard, particularly with the hard money, which means we have very little starting capital, we have to be very frugal about what we do, and it'll be perhaps a little slow in the beginning, but we shall see what we can come up with. We are going to use a refinery and oil production to fuel, pun intended, our economy. And we're actually going to start, this is a kind of an odd thing, but we're going to start with the refinery rather than starting with the raw resource. That's actually, in this particular game, that seems to be the way to go. So, at least at this point. So, this map is huge, so let me just show you how you can kind of find what you're looking for. I've already scouted the map. I know the couple of good spots to execute this strategy. So we are going to go over to a town called Molna, right there. So if I click on that, I can click on the little eye and it will take me to Molna. So here we are in Molna. It's one of the points where we can do export and import to the Soviet nations, to the Eastern Bloc. And the reason we're going to start over here is because if we go right out here to this big lake and we look around with our oil rig, we can find that there's nice oil deposits in the lake. There's nice oil deposits out here on land. In fact, there are a number of good oil deposits here. So we might be tempted to say, well, let's build that oil and ship that oil off and make money on it. And we can do that, but it's pretty expensive to set up enough oil to really get a revenue going. And on top of that, the revenue stream is just really small, and then we don't have anything else going on. So plus, it's a little boring kind of waiting on things to happen. So what we're going to do is take this little area right here around Molna and turn it into a fuel and bitumen export center. So we're going to have a refinery. And then eventually, that's going to be phase one, to get a refinery, export our products through Molna. Then phase 2 or 3, or whenever we can get to it, we will go out and grab the oil and start bringing that oil as supplies into our refinery and cut down on our cost of imports. But we're going to go right here, right next to the border, because the closer you are to the border, the cheaper the import costs. So we're going to put a refinery right here close by, and we're going to carefully lay this thing out. But the first thing we're going to do is build a construction office. So we go to construction related industry, get the construction office, and we'll auto build it. And I want to build it so that it doesn't cost any extra terraforming. There we go, right there. So now that that's ready, we're going to go to that building and we're going to buy some vehicles. We're going to buy a bulldozer, and let's do like 3 excavators. It doesn't matter. All right, at least as long as we have one. And what that's going to give us now, as soon as I go like this and turn off the auto build, we now have really free terraforming. So as long as we're within a pretty wide radius of that construction office, those vehicles, it treats your terraforming as if those vehicles were out doing the work for you, and that just sets up that just saves us tons of money right off the bat. So we're going to also, pardon me, we are going to import our power for now. So that's another reason for using Molna. It has a train, a road, opportunity for import-export, and it has the ability to import or export power. So for now, we're going to import power. Later on, we'll probably flip that around and start exporting power. But that's down the road. Right now, what we want to do is set up, I'm going to put in a power transformer here first. And the power transformer takes that power and steps it down from high voltage to medium voltage, and the medium voltage is what you need throughout your network for all the different buildings. So you can see I'm going to hold down the left mouse button and it's going to flatten the terrain, but if you watch our money, it didn't go away. We didn't lose any money. We flattened that terrain, but we didn't lose any money. That's because we had auto build turned off and we had devices over here, machinery, to do the work for us. So let's go ahead and connect that up. And what we can do here is turn the auto build back on dollars and click that, and it'll automatically build those power lines for us. And we know we're going to have it, so we'll go ahead and build this with dollars. We're going to tend to use dollars for early build. We'll finish off with rubles, because we need to make sure we have rubles, because we're going to be importing power from Molna, and the minute we can't do that, our system is going to die. So we don't want that. So what we're going to do here is try to set up a loading and unloading for fuel that can go into Molna, and set that up correctly with proper flow so that we can easily get our production from the refinery out to the railway. We're going to run one little train here. It's just easier than running trucks. And let me think about that for a second. We'll go. No, we only got one. Now we're going to go train. The train is much easier. So we're going to run a train line out here like so. Let it loop back around. Then we're going to make sure that we're doing electric track, electrified railway. So we're going to make sure that we put a railway connection on it. Whoops. Now there, you notice I was starting to pay for that terraforming. I forgot to uncheck the auto build. Okay, there, that's better. Free is much better. Make sure this will connect. Yep, there we go. And then we'll run it out the back a little bit. And put in a train depot. There we go. And we know we're going to need all this stuff, so let's go ahead and build it. And auto build the track. There we go. All right, so we're getting there. Oh, I did forget. I got the power, but I forgot one little detail. I forgot our station. I forgot what we're actually using to do this work. Let's see here. We need loading and unloading. And we need to set it so that it's incoming from here. And that means we're going to need to take out that track. And I just paid for some more terraforming. Shame on me. Okay. Now we want to set up our refinery so that we can easily move the products into and out of this loading and unloading station. So let's see here. Our refinery. Pardon me. So we've got, there's the outputs. Inputs are over here. Okay, we need enough room to have 2 storage tanks. We need to be able to have okay, if we have one of these nice little one out, 3 in kind of pumps, then what we can do is run from out to in, and then we'll put another tank on the other side. Like so, and go from out to in. And I'm going to go ahead and build the tanks because I want to make sure I specify what they can hold. So well, that one's already being built. Yeah, we might as well do this too. All right, so this one is going to hold our fuel. And if it holds fuel, it's important. This one holds bitumen. That's our 2 products of our sorry, drawing a blanker. That's of our refinery, sorry. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get their pipe set up to pump this. So this one pump will be able to pump out of this tank or this tank into a train that's sitting here, is provided it can take both things. And if it can only take one, that's what it'll pump. So now we can talk about our refinery. Our refinery has 3 outputs. We'd like to have them over here. And we're going to need a pump for that as well. So we're going to need to be able to pump the product out of the refinery and into our system. So we'll put a 1 out, 1 out, 1 in, 3 out, sorry, kind of deal right here. And put, so this one is going to go to here and to here, and then our refinery can go here with its output. Oh, that's interesting. Where's the other output? I'd rather have it turned this way, even though we only need the one output for it, the way we've got it set up. Want this, the key is to get that road where we can easily get to it for our workers. In fact, it'd be even better if it was like this, turned around this way, which it most certainly can be. Yes, that's a lot better. Okay, there's our refinery, and it will output from here to there. So both fuel and bitumen can come to this pump, be split to the appropriate tanks here, and then loaded from the appropriate tanks here into our loading and unloading station. And now, a very key component of all this is getting the road, because we want to have lots of workers readily available, and we want those workers to be able to walk to work, ideally. It's fine if we need to use buses or trains or whatever, but the best is to have them walk. That's the most efficient by a good margin. Now, unfortunately, when we put in that the leveling for this, it kind of raised this area up a little bit. So let's make sure we have a nice road connection there. Yeah, we can even connect the depot. It's not the most necessary thing in the world, but in case of a fire, there it is. Okay, so now what we're going to want to do is put a number of large apartments along here to walk assigned to this to work. So let's go get the really big ones. And just to comment on workers, the refinery can take 500 workers at a time. And in fact, I'm going to make sure I'm going to put these so that they are now, what was I saying? It can take 500 workers, but each worker only works 8 hours and takes 16 hours of free time every day. So if we want 500 workers, we actually have to have more like 1,500 workers assigned to work in that factory if we really want to stay close to 500. So we're not going to try for that right off the bat because we're not going to have enough funds to do all that. But speaking of that, let's just go ahead and build 337. We can't afford it with that, so we'll use our rubles for the factory. We'll use our dollars for these houses. And notice right here, see this get citizens? It's telling us how many to go out and recruit right off the bat. And do I still have an option to change these? No, I've already started the ball rolling. That's all right. We'll keep it at its default value for now. But what we could have done there, and if I was going to do it again, I would actually bump these 4 up to max. I would want max workers on these 4 because they are indeed going to be our initial workers. Come on. Our initial workers at the refinery. All right, so we're going to want to have all these workers able to go in here and easily get to the things that they need. So we're going to put in a grocery store. We'll put that in the center. It's the main thing. So we're going to put a small store so they can get clothing and electronics. We're going to put in a grocery store so they can get food and meat. And we're going to put in a pub so that they can get drunk. Okay. And then what else we definitely want them to have a kindergarten so that anyone who has children can send their children to kindergarten, so they will be able to, that frees them up to go to work. Without the kindergarten, we would lose workers because they would have to stay home and take care of their children. And speaking of children, we definitely want to have a school as early as we can, because what will happen in this game is you'll start out okay with your employment. Then there'll start being a lot of babies, older people dying off. And if you don't have an educated workforce coming in to replace, you're not going to do great in terms of your productivity. So without a school, your productivity will start to decline and fairly rapidly start to decline. With a school, your productivity will actually increase over time. You'll actually have more workers available and educated and ready to work for you. So let's see if we can get a school in there. Oops. All right, so we've got a school, and the big question will be, can this person walk to that school? And I believe the answer is going to be yes. Now, we're going to want to have some sports fields, and we're also going to have a hospital and a firehouse. Now, the hospital and firehouse can be away a little bit because we can actually set them up to go get people if we need to. So the firehouse, for example, could be over here, as long as it's road connected to the main things that we want to protect. And we'd love to have road connections even to these buildings so the fire station can work and get to them, but we may or may not do that. It's not, if they burn down, they burn down, we replace them. It's just, obviously if they burn down in the first few minutes of the game, we're in deep trouble, but other than that, we're okay. Fire station. Okay, fire station and hospital. And we need power. Absolutely need power. We've got our transformer. We're going to be bringing power in from Molna. And what we need a substation, hopefully over here that'll get everybody. That would be nice if we only had to build one. So we'll go to infrastructure, grab the substation. Okay, whoops, can we get them all right there? Oh, look at this. Look at this. It gets them all, but can we even put it there? That's the question. Okay, now notice how it's not showing me the lines backward. This is a pet peeve of mine. Something I would like to see them fix. If I scroll back up, see, put it there, you can clearly see that hits every one of these buildings, which is awesome. But when I scroll down here closer, I lose the ones going backwards if I can't see the building. But never mind, I think it's going to be great if we can put it right there and run medium power lines there we go. That'll power all those buildings, and we also need medium power lines going to our going to our track. Beautiful. Now we're going to carefully build this in stages. Let's get the things we know we have to have. It doesn't work without that, but that's already queued up. That's already queued up. Good. The roads we'll wait on. Queued up. Ready. Okay. We need at least one more of the housing. All right, let's see where that leaves us. Okay. I think I was going to do these four, but let's take these three and this one and assign them to the refinery when time comes, and then this one can staff our other buildings, and we'll probably need to build maybe one more of these. We'll see how that goes. Okay, now we've got some more dollars, so get to work on that. Okay. See if we can get those. Let's see if we can get the paths built. Auto build dollars. Paths. Okay. Now we definitely need these streets, and I goofed up. I will tell you I goofed up. What I really meant to do, I just forgot, was to actually lay all these roads out with gravel roads because they're free. And then go back when I was ready to build them and put on auto build and then paint them with the type of road that I wanted. That would have been much better. So what I'm going to have to do now is go through this rather painful process of grabbing each little tiny bit, and this could have been avoided. See, and we're going to set this up to buy auto purchase oil. A good amount of it. Okay, now question, can this person walk to everything they need? Not quite, they can't quite get to the school, but I think that can be helped. Let's see here. I can run a path through here like that. I think that fixed it. It's hard to tell at nighttime. This guy can go to the school. Good deal. So now everybody can walk everywhere they need to go. Beautiful. And the next thing we're going to do is tell... Now let's go with these four. These four, we're going to tell them that they work. No connections to this building. All right, what's going on here? We don't have our pathing in. So this... Okay, now they can work there. And you can work there. And you can work there. And you can work there. And this apartment will man all these posts right here. And the next thing we'll do is say the small store never needs quite as many. Let's knock it down to 10 sellers. We'll keep the 15 in the grocery store. That is the most popular one. And we'll knock the bartenders down to 3. And the other thing we need before we spend all our money is we need a train. So run a couple of these. We'll set it to go here and load, and go here and unload and start. And it says it's not. Now this is I believe this is an improvement opportunity for the game. What should be happening now, the other thing we need to do is import our power. We've got all these people working and nothing happening. So here we go. Now we should start seeing smoke coming out of this, and we should start seeing production. Got 112 workers. I thought I set that. There we go. Importing oil. Okay, what's wrong with our... Oh, look at this. Didn't build that little dude. That little dude right there is keeping everything from working. Oh. One other thing. I tell you, when you try to save money with the not auto buying, it definitely adds a layer of complexity to the game. So let's build those. There we go. There, now we're getting smoke. Now we've got power. And did we build those? Yep, there we go. There we go. Now we've got power and we've got stuff going out. Now, back to what I was saying. It shows there's no power here, but really the power should be coming through this, through the station to this line. So here's what we do, and this is weird. I just discovered this playing around with it. If I run a power line like an electrified track like this, if it will let me. Come on now, you have to let me. Now it thinks it's electrified. Well, it is, but I could have even done that without, had this not had that strange behavior. I could have done this without even building that track. Just planting that track is enough to make it think that there's power coming through there. So we don't even need this track right here. So now we have our train. It's got some bitumen. We've got fuel coming in that tank. We've got bitumen coming in that tank. This one is getting it from two directions. We've got good workers. Got some teachers and people in school, in the kindergarten. We've got people going into all this. Now we need some sporting activities. So we need tennis, anyone? We've run out of dollars. That's why that didn't get built. So we cancel it as dollars and put it back over on rubles. And we need some more staff. Now, people up here can't get to any sports, so when it's daylight, we'll look into giving them something up here if possible. let's see what our train does this time in terms of loading up. There, it's getting both fuel and bitumen. There we go, 60 tons of fuel and 35 bitumen. That's excellent. Okay. Now we can start making a profit. Yes, I know we're communists, but we do make profits. We need profits. We've got 120 some people working. That's excellent at this stage. So what we're going to keep watching is to balance how much bitumen we have here, how much fuel we have here, and then our capacity of our train, which is 120 tons total. So if this gets up over 60, let's say, we'll start thinking about adding cars to the, or tankers to the train. Of course, we're losing tons of money right now for this month, but that just makes sense. We brought in a lot of manpower. We brought in a lot of resources. But we've got a nice functioning city here with the exception of getting some sports for these folks. So let's see if we can fix that. And let's see how we're doing. Our people are moderately happy. They could be better. What don't they like? Are they getting enough food? No. All right. We're taxing out our food. All right, we need another food store. If we can fit one in somewhere. All right, that should help a lot with our happiness. The food's getting better. And here we are in February, just started February, and we're starting to make money. we probably need to think about a fire station because we are one fire away from being put out of business. A fire in the wrong place would kill us. And we'll need to buy one fire truck and 5 firemen will get the job done. Okay. And we also want to have health care. What kind of margins are we on? Let's just go ahead. We're going to have health care because if everybody dies off on us, we're going to start losing our workforce, losing productivity, and going into a very, very, very bad downward spiral. Can everybody walk there? Everybody can walk there. We probably still could use a couple of ambulances. So let's get a couple of them. So we'll go buy we'll buy a couple of ambulances. We've got a doctor, we've got staff. Everybody can walk there if they need to, and our ambulances are already out grabbing patients, so good deal there. So we're now, at this point, we have our fire station so we can handle the major disasters. We could still have a fire over here somewhere and lose ground because we would have to rebuild some items. But we are covered on our major investments, particularly the refinery. If the refinery went out, we would be toast. All right, so let's wrap up this first episode right there. We have a fully functioning city. Once you have your grocery, your small store, your pub, school and kindergarten, hospital and firehouse, and your sports fields, and everything reachable for your people, and you've got some kind of industry going that's turning a profit, you've got a fully functioning city. So this little well, I'm calling it city, little town of Molna is in good shape now. It's making money. So what I'm going to do here now is let it run. So I'm going to actually monitor it and let it run for a while. Actually, in fact, I'm going to let it run for a year and just make some money and accumulate some cash. And when we come back for episode 2, we'll then look at what we're going to do next. And I'm thinking right now, I've gone through several ideas of what to do next. And I think what we're actually going to do is build another town with a symbiotic relationship to this one. So you'll see what I mean when we come back for part 2. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video. Thank you.